Hello and welcome again to this platform where we look at historical events as they happen and try to make sense out of them. Those who studied philosophy of history probably came across the Hegelian method. The Hegelian method simply says that history progresses through a series of contradictions, what he called the thesis, antithesis, synthesis. That means that some historical events happen. That is the thesis, or sort of the current reality. Then there is an antithesis, which is events or a series of events that contradict the the status quo, which then produces a synthesis, which is then a new set of circumstances. Now, something happened in Libya recently, which has not gained a lot of attention in the global media. The Libyan House of Representatives basically called for expulsion of ambassadors from mainly Western countries that are supporting the ongoing violence and killings in Gaza. Now, it might look like a very insignificant event. I mean, Libya is virtually a colony under one would almost say, some kind of trusteeship. Before Gaddafi's death, there was a rapprochement between Gaddafi and Western countries, and reaching to the point where Gaddafi had even given some concessions in terms of the Western companies accessing oil from Libya. And now, of course, at the first opportunity that the Western nations got, they killed Gaddafi using through the instrumentalization of the UN, some sanctions regime, no-fly zones, and all that. Of course, all that is now past history. So from that time, from the time of Gaddafi's death, Libya has been a virtual colony, and all these attempts to stabilize the country have failed. Now I'm looking at a number of possibilities here, because the war, the ongoing quote unquote war in Gaza, is also kind of has also created a convergence point for the Arab elite, and it is therefore possible that they could start looking at this, in the same frame, and interpreting it in the same frame. That is, Western countries, the global capitalism, obviously causing crisis in that part of the world so as to control their resources. And once they start looking at it like that, then they could find a point of convergence, because the unity of the Arabs, just like the unity of African states, has always been very, very challenging, and partly is because of the manipulations that go on and that are historic in nature. And so right now what we have seen is a lot of the Arab countries are kind of converging. Opinion is kind of converging on this matter, involving what is going on and the bloodletting in Gaza. But if you cast your sight ahead, you might then begin to think that the Libyan elite could now use this as an opportunity to cause convergence within the country itself, and basically then be able to garner the support internally that can then give them more legitimacy, but can also then be used to engineer consensus for more stability in that country. But the question then is, will the present Libyan elite, can they muster the courage to go back to the policies of Muammar Gaddafi, which ensured that the resources of that country were used to create a welfare system for the Libyan people? Because that is essentially what global capitalism was against in Libya and elsewhere. You can see the crisis in Sudan, the crisis in the DRC. A lot of these crises are engineered so that the global system of exploitation can then go on with the big powers basically hogging all the resources from these countries after causing a lot of chaos. And the DRC is a very good case in point. So these are reflections based on history that is happening. I've said before, that history is a lived experience. The things that are happening now, after another 50 years, 30 years, we will be reflecting on them and saying, this is what caused this. Because when you're analyzing history, it takes time for events to result into fundamental changes, particularly changes that are systemic, like polarity, what we call polarity in international relations. So this is just food for thought for you and your colleagues, wherever you are, for lovers of history, for those who want to understand and interpret the current situation. This is my thinking at the moment, but it's good that people observe these events, interpret them, and we see where they lead. And so I'll leave you with this word this evening. Thank you.